Hello, hobby fans. Welcome back to your YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss one very interesting topic, and that is stress. Today we are going to talk about how stress can implicate our health. Now, let's understand what stress is. People usually get angry, sad, or very emotional when some unpleasant things happens. These ones are normal. It happens with everybody. But when your reaction towards such unpleasant situations becomes very extreme in such a way that it starts to affect how you function, then you are really under stress. So that is how we say that somebody is under stress. That's when your reaction to something or an issue is so extreme that it starts to affect how you function as a normal human being. Now, stress can lead to so many problems. It's through stress that people develop psychological issues such as depression, anxiety, and normal misconducts. You can meet somebody on the roadside and the person will do something and then you are like, hey, what's wrong with this person? Most of the time, they are really under a lot of stress. Now, that misconduct is one of the issues that comes along with stress. Now, when these ones continue, you can develop conditions like hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, and some people do even gain weight most of the time because there is something called stress eating where people have their appetite for sugary stuffs and then carbs increased because the stress hormone, which is called cortisol, suppresses one other hormone called serotonin, and when serotonin is suppressed, your cravings increases. So stress can impact your life and affect your quality of health in so many ways that we often overlook. There are most people who present to the hospital with several complaints that are just because they are under a lot of stress, but they are just easily misdiagnosed for conditions like malaria, typhoid, and then other conditions that are mostly unproved, that you can't really prove on the laboratory screen. And most of the time they are stressed, and you see symptoms like headache, general body pains, joint pains, loss of memory, loss of concentration, difficulty sleeping, difficulty relating to your social and your environment. Now, these minor distorted patterns mostly relates to stress, though it's good that you visit your doctor for other conditions to be also ruled out. Now, let's talk about how best we can avoid, alter, and we can adapt to stress, and also we can accept stress. Now, these four things I mentioned are ways we can get rid of stress. Either we avoid, we alter, we accept, or we can adapt to stress. These are the best ways you can avoid stress. Now, let's look at how to avoid stress and other stressors that comes to our way. Now, first of all, we need to learn how to say no. Most of the time, we are faced with certain challenges that we can forcefully just dive into without thinking about them. So if you are the yes kind of person to every task, then you should also understand that you will be faced with some amount of stress. So it's very crucial for us to understand that sometimes taking on more than we can handle is a major predisposition to stress. Another thing is that we have to avoid people who stress us. Now, there are a lot of people in bad relationships, bad situations, bad marriages, and some kind of situationships that will lead us into stress. Now, the best way to do this is to either you avoid them completely or you limit the amount of time you spend with such people. Now, this one is very crucial because stress mostly stems from relationship or romantic setbacks. So your ability to learn how to avoid people or also control the time you spend with them will directly or indirectly impact how much such individuals can stress your life out. So you need to put this into consideration when you are trying to avoid stress, which is very key part of stress management. Now also you have to avoid what you call the hot button topics. There are some of us that some topics get to us, like religious debates, political debates, or some type of topics that will keep our blood pumping. Now if you are that type, that whenever you get yourself into that situation, you get your stress level comes up. You need to avoid such hot button topics. The moment you hear it from the TV, from people, you try to switch it off, or you try to pay close ears to such noise, or let's say nuisance, so that it doesn't get to you and increase your stress. Now, another thing we have to put into consideration is to control our environment. You have to understand that situations like the traffic, or also a lot of things that you would have to do. You are the type that you like to multitask all the time. You need to control your environment. You need to have a to-do list. You need to choose long-term plans that you can fit in your time schedule very well, so that you don't have to pile up so many things to put you in a stressful mode. Well, sometimes you need to be a go-getter, but don't try to do it in a way that will implicate your health. Now, let's not forget, we are talking about stress. So we need to be able to match up activities we do and also control our environment so that they don't get to us too much. Now, let's also quickly look at how to alter the situation we find ourselves when we are under stress. Now, we need to express our feelings instead of bottling them up. We need to communicate. You don't have to be the type that says, oh, as for me, when I get into something, I don't want to share. No, it's good that you share, but you share it with the right people. You can have a psychiatrist, you can speak to your doctor, you can speak to a trusted religious leader, or a trusted family member that can get you the kind of help you also deserve. And be willing to compromise. Now, that's the second step you need to take. You have to be willing to compromise. Now, when you ask people to change their behavior around you, you should also understand that you need to also change. Now, there are a lot of people around you that are stressing you out. But if you don't also change some part of you, it will be difficult for you to change the kind of situation or the kind of impact you are getting from people. So you have to be willing to compromise. As you're looking for something positive, you should also be able to deliver something positive on the table. Now, also, you need to be more assertive. Now, don't take the backseat of your own life. Deal with problems head on. And then you have to be doing your best to anticipate or prevent them. Now, we need to be more assertive. For example, if you have a friend or maybe a co-worker who is very chatty, and mostly assuming you have a project that you have to do, you need to be able to make sure that you make the person aware that this is what your plans are, so that you don't their attitude doesn't interfere with your plans. Now, if you permit such scenarios, understand that you may misuse your time, and when the time comes, it is going to put you in a lot of stress. Now, as I'm talking about time, you need to also make sure you manage your time very well. You need to make sure you plan ahead. If you have a project to do, or if you have something to do, you don't wait till you get there before you start to put up a lot of things. You need to plan a week or some hours or some days ahead of the time, so that when the situation gets at hand, it doesn't stress you out. And then you also need to learn how to adapt to certain stress situations. You need to also know how to reframe your perception about the stress. There are certain situations that you find yourself, you need to look at it from the positive perspective rather than fuming about it all the time. You have to sit down and think through the situation to analyze it carefully, so that you can look at it from the positive standpoint, and that is going to help you to overcome it and prevent the thing from stressing you out. You have to look at the bigger picture of every situation. You don't have to always look at one side of the box. You have to look at all the other sides of the box to examine the situation you find yourself, so that you can find the part which will suit your thought pattern and it wouldn't stress you out. And you have to adjust to standards. You understand? You don't have to be a perfectionist all the time, or you don't have to be a loser too. You need to also know how to crave towards perfection. And also, when failure comes, you need to also understand that it's part of the whole deal, and that you need to adapt in a way. So, not to say that you are targeting weakness or you are about to lose at any task you are given, but you need to understand situations in a way that will help you to adjust to the standards. Now, also, let's accept the things that we cannot change. Now that's where we're able to accept certain situations that we know that this situation is out of our control. Now, instead of us trying to forcefully use our emotions, our thought patterns, our mind to find ways to try to make things change, we try such situations and we end up hurting ourselves, and there we find ourselves in a stressful mode. So it's good that we learn how to accept certain situations, and then it will help us to control certain ways that we manage our stress. Now we also need to connect with others. We need to have fun. We need to learn how to relax. We need to go to the beach. We need to go to gatherings, so that we will accept how our society is also moving on, and we move along with them. Now these ones will really help us to control our stress. So you have to also do something every day. Now the last thing you want to do about stress is to become idle. When you are the idle type, you find it very difficult to control your stress. So you need to understand that every day you need to do something. You need to step out. You need to take a walk. You need to make a call. You need to go and see people. You need to go to the town, to go to the city. You need to go to the countryside. You need to do all of this. And trust me, if you do this, you will reverse your stress, and then you will control your health, and you will take charge of your health, and you wouldn't permit stress to impede on your health. This is a very cheap formula for you to control your health, control your stress, and also live and enjoy life. As I always say, for us here at Hobby TV, we are here to put you in your best health status. That comes with a lot of education, free stuff that you wouldn't get anywhere else. So tell your friend to subscribe, tell your colleague to share. Keep watching. If you watch it and you don't get it, keep watching. Very soon I'll be putting my details. If you need any help, you can contact me personally. Now I want to buy out. I'll see you in our next video. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Ciao.